So we set the pole on top like this, then you take the green curtain and you just throw it on top. And if I actually just set this to on, you'll see that the green magically disappeared. Hello and welcome to another NihongoGamer video. This is the 2020 edition of the studio tour for the NihongoGamer sort of YouTube, Twitch, live streaming, video production studio. I think there's quite a lot of detail that we could go into talking about every single little part of this studio. But this will be kind of the first part where I just go over the general overview of how the camera is set up, how the computer and the console are set up, and also maybe a little bit of information about how the mixer is set up. So let's have a look. Now I'm using this setup for video content and live streaming, but let's start with video content first. Now, if you really just want to start with the absolute bare essentials to make a video on YouTube, really all you need is something like a phone or a computer. You don't even need a camera because you can make video content that doesn't have your voice and doesn't have your face at all. So probably the base component of this setup is this computer or this computer. Doesn't really matter which one, I just happen to like editing on a Mac. But for live streaming, I generally use the laptop, the Windows laptop computer. Now the next thing you're going to need if you want to make video content that shows your face is a camera. Now this is the same camera that I showed in my previous studio tour. It's the Panasonic GH4. It's got a 15mm lens on it, and it goes up to 1.7, but I usually use it around sort of 2.2. And if you're familiar with cameras, you know that basically the lower that this number here goes, something like 1.7, you get a really nice blurry background. Now most cameras are gonna have a microphone built in, but if you want to level up your sound quality, especially if you want to get the sound nice and isolated and get rid of all the background noise, you want an external mic like this. Now you can get USB microphones that go directly into a computer, but I've got one that's just a standard microphone with a microphone XLR cable. This is one of the cheapest condenser microphones you can get on Amazon. Actually, it costs like something like $100. It's an Audio-Technica AT2020. And if you're curious to know what it sounds like, this is the audio quality coming out of the AT2020 if you're nice and close up to the microphone. Though in fairness, even really cheap microphones sound really good if you're right up close to it. Now since you can get pretty good quality out of most microphones as long as they're close enough to your face, you might want to get one of these boom stands. Now this is made by a company called Rode and actually clips onto the desk like so. Comes over like this, which means that I can go right over my computers, and then when I don't need it, I can shift it away like so. And the main benefit, of course, is that even though it's over there, I can bring it nice and close, have it right up next to my face when I'm doing my streams like this, and then when I don't need it, put it away like so. And you may have noticed I'm also using it as my headphone stand. You can get special headphone stands, but hey, this boom stand seems to do the job. So I've got my headphones over here for when I'm playing games, doing live streams, or recording videos. But you don't really need headphones when you're recording videos. But there are various situations where it makes it easier to record a video if you've got headphones. Alright, so that's the video side of the setup, but if you want to get into live streaming, then the setup can get a little bit more involved. When you're doing video work, you can kind of separate the tasks bit by bit, but when you're doing live streaming, you tend to need like all of the equipment at the same time. Now, obviously you can live stream from a phone, but personally I'm going to be live streaming from a computer. It's a little bit more flexible. So what you're seeing now is this PC is running a piece of software called OBS, which is playing this video game. So the PlayStation that is running this video game is actually down here. This is a PS4 running into the same interface that I use for YouTube. It's the AverMedia LGP2. Now out of this device are two video feeds. One goes through USB into the computer, which is why I can see the video game on my PC over here. But the problem is you do have a slight amount of lag. So when I press a button on here, there will be like a tiny microsecond delay. And depending on the game, that can make a really big difference. So I don't play the game through this monitor, I actually play it through this monitor, which has its own separate feed. So in addition to the feed that goes to the computer through USB, there's another cable that goes through HDMI, and that's directly to this monitor. This is a lag-free pass-through connection to this monitor. Now, in fact, most live streams just use a webcam, but since I've got this camera already set up for YouTube, and it's a nice high-quality camera, I figured I may as well use that for live streams, and that means I'm going to need another input device to go into the computer. So currently I have the video game running into this OBS software through the AverMedia LGP, but I want to have my face show up as well, and so I'm going to plug my camera into the computer and it's going to look like this. Like that. Now, if you're using a webcam, it simply is a case of plugging the webcam into your computer. But if you're using a camera like this, which is my Panasonic GH4, there's no USB output, or as far as I'm aware, there's no USB output that's easy to use. So I'm using an HDMI output going into a video capture card. And that's what this device is. This is an Elgato HD60S. This HDMI cable is the video feed from the camera into this device. And this cable here is the USB into the computer, and nothing coming out. So now we have two video sources. We've got the video game and we've got the camera source going into OBS. But what is this, I hear you ask? Well, it's not a necessary part of the stream, but if you want to show something like the controller you're using, and since this channel does have a large variety of different shaped controllers and styles of controllers, I have a separate video feed coming in through this here. Now you could use a webcam or another camera hooked up to another video input device like the LG P2. But it so happens that I had an extra iPhone lying around from a previous contract, a previous phone contract, and the picture quality that comes out of this iPhone is far superior to any webcam, or at least any webcam that I've tried. And to get this iPhone to go into the computer, all you need is this lightning cable. No special input devices, just this one cable. However, to get this iPhone to show what it can see on the screen here in OBS, you need to get a special plugin, and I've got it here. It's called iOS Camera. So you download this plugin for OBS, and then you also download the app, and I think it's something like $10 or $15, and you install it on this device here through the iOS App Store. Then once it's installed, it's just a matter of adding it to the scene in OBS. Just click the button, and now I've got my video game source, my camera source, and I've also got my second camera source, which is showing what's down here on the arcade stick. Now in OBS you can actually set up different scenes, and the scene that I'm showing you right now, this is the one where I'm just like chatting to people in the chat, and it gets everything else out of the way. It's like the game screen is just here in the corner, and then we can just chat face to face like this. But as you may have noticed, when it's on this screen, it looks a little bit different to usual, right? You can barely see what's going down on this camera. I want to get rid of this background. Well, that's where the stream is going to get a little bit more complicated. If you want to have it set up like this, with the background removed, you're going to have to set up a green screen. Now there are also apps that allow you to remove the background without a green screen, but if you use a green screen, it's just going to be that much cleaner. So for normal video recordings, this background is absolutely fine, but if I want to remove the background and I don't want to use one of those plugins that don't look as clean as I would like, let's set up the green screen. To do so, you're going to need a couple of these tripods. These cost something like $10 each, I think. So I'll put one of these over here, and I'll put the second one over here. And then you're going to need a green curtain. And I think this also costs something like $15 or $20. It's literally just a green piece of fabric. So we set the pole on top like this. Then you take the green curtain and you just throw it on top of the pole. Like so. And viola, you're ready. Now if you want to, you can actually further fasten this curtain in place in case you're worried that it's going to run away using these clips. I'm pretty sure that the curtain, the rod, and these clips all came in a set, and it was something like $30. So in total, this package probably costs, including the stands, something like $40 or $50. Now I actually like the ceiling light to come a little bit cleaner over there, so I'm going to move this backwards a little bit like so. And now for the magic. As you can see, this is OBS just like it was before, but now I've got green in the background instead of my actual wall and my actual room back there. From this point, I just right click on here and I activate a little filter, and this filter is called Chroma Key. And if I actually just set this to on, you'll see that the green magically disappears. I'll just show you again with it off, and this is with the Chroma Key on. That is the whole magic. Now you may be wondering what happened to the rest of my background, because the green screen doesn't actually cover all of it, and it's because I've actually cropped this here. If I show you the rest of it, you can see it only goes up to, it only makes some of my screen transparent. But because I haven't spread the green screen further that direction, there's this weird zone here which isn't showing the background as transparent, and that's why in the software here, I'm just going to crop this unnecessary area here. And really, all you need is for the green screen to cover the immediate area around your head and body. So that's almost everything, but before I want to start the stream, I'm gonna have to bring my microphone closer over, so I'm using this boom stand. Just bring this over to my face, so it's right in front of my mouth, that way I don't have too much background sound or sounds from the traffic outside. Now you can see the sight that you're familiar with from the actual Twitch streams. Put my headphones on, got the microphone in place, got my arcade stick down here, and the game screen up there. And essentially that's how this stream works. I've got the PC running the OBS software. It's showing my video game from the PlayStation going into a video capture card. It's showing my main selfie camera, which is just my normal Panasonic GH4 camera, which is going through a separate capture card. It's an Elgato HD60, and I use a separate brand so that if it's an AverMedia and an Elgato, the computer knows that they're two separate devices. Sometimes if you use the same brand, it doesn't know which one's which, and it can get a little bit confused. And because I like to show the arcade stick as well, I've got my iPhone. This is an old iPhone 6 running into OBS Studio. Now I think that's plenty of information for this first look at the current state of the live streaming and video production YouTube and Twitch studio for NihongoGamer. But I would like to, in a future video, go a little bit more into detail about how the audio is working. Now normally you would have a USB microphone or a microphone like this, which is running an XLR microphone cable into the computer. And to do that, you need something like this, which is an audio interface. This also costs something like $100, but you can get these for like $40 or $50, depending on what brand you find. Now, the main reason I've actually stopped using this is because I wanted more dials. So in a future video, when we've got more time to talk about audio, I'll discuss the reason why I stopped using a device like this, which is basically an audio interface and not too much else going on, and decided to go for something like this. This is a USB mixer, and as you can see, lots more dials and lots more inputs for plugging things in like monitors, PlayStations, cameras, microphones, whatever. But as you can see, it's kind of complex, so I will save that for a future video. So I'll be talking about the audio aspect of video making and streaming in a separate video. But something I also want to talk about in a separate video is when I switch from video gaming to drawing. Now when I do a drawing live stream, I need to plug this into the PC as well. This is a pen monitor. Well, it's actually a computer, but it can be used as a pen monitor. So I can see my computer screen on this and draw on this as if it were, you know, digital paper really. So that's something fun that I'd like to talk about in a future video. And one more thing that I think is kind of fun that I haven't had a chance to really show you much today is this. So this is the Elgato Stream Deck, and it's actually a customizable set of buttons that you can create for controlling a large range of things on your computer. It doesn't even have to be live streaming, but because I'm doing live streaming, it's set up like this, where I can go into my setup and I can choose all the different scenes on here. So if I choose scene A, it goes over like this. If I press scene B, changes like that. And there's a whole range of scenes that I've got set up here. This one shows the game. This one says that I'll be live soon. If I press the button here, you can see it goes to the live soon screen. If I press this button here, it will switch over to my stream will start soon. That's like a little video that I run before the streams begin. And then when the stream actually begins, press this button, and boom, we're back into the normal scene where you can actually see my face. So there you have it, a quick look at the 2020 version of the NihongoGamer Studio. This is actually the most flexible the studio has ever been because I've got more space for doing VR videos if I choose to need the space to do so, and also for doing drawing streams and also video gaming streams and video production like so. And if I don't need this background, it's so easy to just take it down. I can just literally pull the curtain and the green screen's gone. It's that easy. Ta-da! So that's all for now. I hope that answered some of your questions about getting started in video production or live streaming. If you've got any other questions, do feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. And if you're interested to talk about gear and Japan and fighting games or art or whatever, or even, you know, how, if you want more details about how this setup works, you can join us on Discord, where we've got chat rooms to talk about stuff. We can even talk about this green curtain if you're interested. And if you're not already, remember to subscribe to this channel. And I'll see you in the next NihongoGamer video and or stream, or on Discord, or on Twitter, or somewhere.